So while we're waiting for questions, I'll give you a little bit of insight into what I do. So I am a baby and toddler sleep consultant. My company's called Snooze Tots. So what effectively I do is any baby sleep problems, parents come to me and we work together to solve them. Usually it's a 2 weeks consultation period if they're needing support. If it's a phone call, can do it. If it's a quick fix that needs just a phone call, can do that. And it's just teaching a child to sleep better. So any questions, fire away. Come on, guys. Here we go. They begin. So Victoria, my 2-year-old, went to bed at 6:20 the other night and didn't up until 9:40 the next morning. Is that okay? If it's if it's working for you and she's doing it every night and if she's still having a nap and it's working, nothing's wrong. If it's nothing wrong with it, say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's working, then absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're finding though that she then goes on to have a bad day, she doesn't nap and then she wakes up early the next day, then yes, you might not want to wake her up. Usually I'd say by 8 o'clock if there's any sleep issues the following day. My nearly 3-year-old has moved into her big girl bed, but I keep finding her in my bed in the middle of the night. Is it best to leave her or put her back in her own bed? If you're happy for her to come into your bed, then leave her. But if you're wanting her to staying in her bed, you're going to have to just take her back to her bed. Do that in a silent way. So if she comes into your bed, silently return her. Don't interact. Just put her back in her bed, say goodnight and leave. And just keep repeating that so that she understands. If you're finding that it becomes an issue that she keeps doing it, then incentivize her to stay in the bed. So whether that's a reward chart, so if she stays in bed all night, she gets a prize. So you can create a little reward chart, get her involved, and just incentivize. My 9-month-old grandson wakes almost every hour during the night. This has been going on for about 8 weeks. I would need to know a little bit more, Pam, about what's going on. Does your grandson know how to put himself to sleep? I'd need to know wake times. So wake times for a 9-month-old, you're looking about 3 to 3.5 hours between naps, and he's usually going to be about 2 naps a day. And total sleep in the day is about 3 hours. These are just averages, but I'd need to know, does he know how to settle himself, put himself to sleep? Because if he doesn't and he's going to wake, he's going to cry out. So I would need to know a little bit more detail. Do you recommend swaddling from birth? Yes, some parents love doing it. It's a great way because that startle reflex, moral reflex is really there. So it's a really good way to control that. So you might get a little bit extra sleep. So yeah, the swaddle is a great thing. But you might find that they don't like it at the beginning. Just keep trying it, and they sort of get used to it. But make sure that when they start to roll, that you get rid of the swaddle because it's dangerous or showing signs of rolling. Okay, my 4-month-old will only go to sleep if she is breastfed to sleep. I'm worried that we can't get her to sleep any other way. How can we get her to sleep by herself? So simply, it's about teaching her. You have to use a self-settling approach that you are comfortable to use. Something really gentle, I'd suggest. I'm actually doing a workshop with which you might actually be really interested in. It's with Let's Talk Birth and Baby. And it's a workshop from 4 months plus, and I go through settling approaches. I'll put the link in into the comments at the end. You might want to do that, and I go through settling approaches. There's too much to go through in this session, but ultimately at 4 months old they can learn to settle themselves instead of being fed to sleep if that's not working for you anymore. And we can cover all that. So I will send the link at the end about the workshop that you could maybe join. Okay, what age do you recommend that a child cuts out nap? It really varies. Some kids when 2.5, they start showing signs of their sleep's really disrupted at night, so that might mean that they don't need it anymore and they won't take that lunchtime nap. Exhibit A, my son. So you put them down for a nap and they're not really wanting the nap anymore, and that some kids will still have it at 3 years old. So it really just depends, but average between 2.5 to 3 years old, they drop the lunchtime nap. But if they still take their nap and then go have a good night's sleep, then absolutely leave the nap as much as you want. Right. My son is 10.5 months old. For well over a month now, he's been rolling onto his stomach during the night and screaming until one of us goes in and turns him over, even though he knows to roll back. We just can't turn him over and go back to we just can't turn him over and go back to bed though. He needs cuddle back to sleep, which sometimes can be up to an hour. We've tried to put him down, but he just cries. This is happening 3 to 4 times a night. What can we do? Is he going down to bed at night time himself? So you want to make sure that he's settling himself at the beginning of bedtime. And does he know how to put himself back to sleep? Also make sure that his sleep is right for the day. So 10 months old, you're looking at wake time about 3.5 hours, 3.5 maximum 4 hours, roughly about 2.5 maximum day sleep a day. That's across 2 naps. And then use a approach. So if he does wake up, you go in and you settle him, but then make sure that he goes back to sleep himself. Give him the support, but let him go back to sleep himself. Okay. My little boy is almost 4 months. He sleeps in the toddler bed and has a Stargate at his bedroom door. Since having him, I've always had the bedroom door open, wanting to know, should I be shutting it? And if I do I get him used to having the door closed? So 14 months is very, very young to be putting them in a toddler bed. You really want to keep it as late as possible, like closer to like 3 years old. The longer you can keep them in a cot, the better, because they don't have that. They don't have. If you say can you stay in your bed? They will get out. They just can't control that impulse to get out. So at 14 months, they definitely won't understand. So if it's okay, you could get them back into the cot and they'd be happy to go back into the cot. It's not a regressing. It's that they're just almost quite young to be going into a toddler bed. If you say, no, absolutely, it's dangerous that they're jumping out of the cot, even if it's on the bottom level on the ground, the mattress in the cot, then yes, keep them in the toddler bed. But you said about I've always had the bedroom door open. You can get him used to having the door closed. Have a camera on him because it's going to be really dangerous. You wouldn't know what he will get up to. Make sure it's completely safety proof as well in that room. Okay. My 1.5-year-old has just started waking up so early, around 4 a.m. She goes to sleep at 7:30. She's always been a good sleeper, having milk before bed, but the past 4 weeks keeps waking up early. Should I cancel her only nap during the day out? So if she's 1.5, she should still be having a nap. I mean, I would say it's very, very, very young to be saying no more naps. That's not going to solve it. You're probably going to actually have her waking up even earlier, or as early. So she'll be so overtired. So keep the nap. I'd need to know how much sleep she's having at that nap time. Often it's because they wake up early because they're overtired. So it could be overtiredness, it could be hunger. It could be that there's a bit of light coming in. So you need to make sure everything's right. Does she know how to go to sleep herself? But keep her in that cot, even at 4 o'clock. Try and get her back to sleep, because you don't want to get into habit thinking it's morning time. So keep it dark in the room. Try and then, so if let's say she's having too much sleep, her nap's too long, maybe shorten it a little bit in the day. And bring bedtime a little bit earlier. So try a 7 o'clock bed, because she actually could be a little bit overtired. Often, as I said, early wake ups is due to overtiredness. So give her a little bit of an earlier bedtime, and you might find, because probably you're on a cycle, she's getting up at 4, her day is mega long from 4 o'clock till 7:30, and you're just in a cycle, and then she's overtired, and then she'll keep waking up early. So yeah, pull bedtime earlier, 6:45, 7 o'clock. Do that you need to give it a few days to see if that works first. Don't after one night say, oh, it's not worked. You've got to give it a few days. But definitely don't give up the nap at 1.5. My 8-month-old baby wakes around 8 times a night. He has 2 naps, a 30-minute on the morning and a 2-hour in the middle of the day. He won't go off without feeding. So that's why he's waking 8 times a night. He needs to learn to settle himself. And once you get him settling himself, you'll find those wake-ups go. So it's all about you teaching him to self-settle, and those wake-ups will disappear. As I said about that workshop, that would be perfect for you. It's a 4 to 18-month workshop. There's also a newborn one, but the 4 to 18-month one would be perfect, where I go through settling strategies. So Danny Worth, I'll put the link at the end, and you can have a look at it. We took our 4-month-old baby's dummy off a week ago, as she was waking every hour during the night. She doesn't like sleeping in the day, and we'll have 45 minutes max a couple of times, and we have to rock her to sleep. She'll have a bottle, go down fine. However, she'll wake screaming after 45 minutes, which is always 2 hours rocking her. So because she's waking at the 45 minutes, you know that she's doing one cycle, and because she's being fed to sleep and rocked to sleep, she's getting to that end of that cycle, and she cannot connect to the other one. And that is why simply she needs to learn to self-settle. So that's all about teaching self-settle. Also, because she's having such little sleep in the day, you're aiming for about 3.5 to 4 hours. You're going to find that she's mega overtired, so leading to more wake-ups as well. Okay. How do I get my 4-year-old and 2-year-old to go to sleep at night and stay asleep? They both currently wake 2 to 4 times each a night. Also, 4-year-old takes over an hour to get to bed. Bedtime's at 7:30. I'm due twins in Jan. Congratulations. So need to get them sorted, as both 4 and 2-year-old will have to share a room soon. Okay. My recommendation is sort one out first and then the other. I think it would be too much doing 2. So let's take the 4-year-old. 4-year-old, I'm assuming, doesn't have sleep in the day. If he does, I would say try and not let him have a nap in the day. And then how you're responding to his wake-ups. So whether you need to do something quite gradual, so look at the gradual retreat approach, where if he's not happy about you leaving the room, then stay in there, and then gradually move out. Also, another really good one is called the kissing technique, the kissing strategy. Have a look at that, where you promise him a kiss if he stays in bed, and go to sleep, and then use also a reward chart. So get him sorted. Or you can do it the other way around, start with 2-year-old first. And the 2-year-old as well, he goes to sleep at night. So once again, does the 2-year-old know how to independently go to sleep? If he doesn't, is it a boy or girl? I'm not sure. If your 2-year-old doesn't know how to go to sleep on their own, then that's time to teach them. And just make sure that they're still having a lunchtime nap. 2-year-olds will need a lunchtime nap probably. Probably 2.5 to 3, you're going to find that they'll drop it. But if they don't have that nap, then get them to bed early that day. But yeah, it's all about just teaching them to self-settle and stay in bed. And how you respond to them at night, do the exact same as how you did at bedtime. Okay, so Emma, how do you help an almost 2-year-old learn to fall asleep by himself? He was almost breastfed to sleep until 15 months, followed by a bout of febrile seizures over a couple of months, then put back in our room for supervision. I'm sorry. So if the doctor clears it and he says it's okay to start sleep training him, it's almost, I would do something where you stay in the room, so look up gradual retreat and follow that, where you get him, you stay in the room and support him, and gradually move out the room. That's your best bet, especially with what he's been through. You don't want to, I wouldn't suggest doing any sort of leaving the room and returning like quick checks. It takes some time, so just persevere, and that's how you can teach him to settle. But then also what I would do is try and move that feed to an earlier stage in the bedtime routine as well, so that he disassociates feeding and sleep as much as you can. Okay, Sarah, should daytime naps be in the dark and quiet room, or can I let my little one nap on me while the TV is on? 100%, it helps enormously if you let them sleep in the dark, in a quiet room. So have a really nice wind down routine 10 minutes before a nap. You don't want to whisk them upstairs into a dark room, put them in the bed and say sleep. You want to wind them down. So that could be sitting, putting them in sleep, change the nappies, putting them in sleep sack, reading a book, calming them down just for 10 minutes, so that they start associating that with its sleep time. Then put them in their cot, and yes, it should be dark. That melatonin, that hormone, that sleepy hormone, rises in the dark. So if you're not giving them the darkness, the melatonin levels are going to drop. But that being said, if you are happy, you said, can I little one nap while the TV is on you? If that works for you, then absolutely do whatever works best for you. But if you're finding that he's not napping, then yes, use the dark, and often white noise can help. So hopefully that helps. Tanya, my daughter is 1 year old and keeps climbing out her cot over the top. I'm scared she's going to seriously hurt herself, so I'm thinking about toddler bed. Is it as low as possible, and is she in a sleep sack? You want to have, if the mattress can go on the floor, you'd be better having the mattress as low as possible, because 1 year old, as I said earlier, it's quite young to get them into a toddler bed, especially if there's any sort of sleep issues. They're not going to be resolved by putting them into a toddler bed. But yeah, if you can lower the mattress even more so, then do that, and make sure the room is really, really dark. You want it pitch black, because often they're less inclined, if they can't see what they're doing, to try doing that. But if it's a danger and they're going to hurt themselves, then yes, obviously you're going to have to move them. Right. I have a 3-month-old who still wakes through the night. I'm up every 40 minutes to an hour. I've tried upping his feeds during the day, swaddling him, playing white noise dummies, which he doesn't take to, and I'm exhausted. Am I doing something wrong? First of all, you're not doing anything wrong. 3 months is very young still. I'd want to know, is he napping too much in the day? At 3 months, you're looking at maximum about 4 hours sleep in the day. Otherwise, if they have too much sleep in the day, they're going to be up all night. And you want a really good wind down as well before bed. Make sure bedtime's not too late. Aim for about 8:30 latest for a 3-month-old. Actually, 7:30 is perfectly fine, depending how their sleep's gone in the day. Just practice self-settling, not sleep training, just practice self-settling, because once you hit that 4-month, where the regression, they call it, where they're actually developmentally more like adult cycles, the more practice they've had at being put down in their cot, drowsy but awake, at 3 months, the better they will sleep. So yeah, it's all about practice. Make sure that it's pitch black as well. That really helps. And it's just practicing and making sure that naps in the day are at the right time. So 3 months, you're looking at wake times of about 1.5 hours, across about 4 naps in the day at 4 hours in total. So have a look at that. Oh, perfect, Nicola. Yeah, overtiredness really does affect everything. It's the cortisol, it's a stress hormone that gets released. They might not show the signs that they're overtired, but they often are. So that stress hormone rises, cortisol, and that disrupts their sleep, and they can then wake up earlier in the morning. So yeah, early bedtime, and try and prevent the overtiredness. So what is a good bedtime for a 4-month-old? Really around 7:30 is good. It really depends on how your day's gone with naps. So 4 months, you're looking at roughly 3 to 4 naps, depending on how good they are at sleeping. So your wake times are about 2 hours between each nap, and maximum day sleep of 4 hours. Often 4 months olds only need 3.5 hours. So once you've kind of got all your day out, every day is going to be slightly different, but always try and end the last nap by about 5 o'clock so that they go to bed by about 7ish. And then what time would you expect them to wake up in the morning? Every child is slightly different. 6 o'clock is considered morning for children. So anything after 6 o'clock is considered morning. So really it depends on the child. They could be waking up at 7. But I wouldn't let them sleep past 8 because that just can throw off the rest of the day in terms of naps. Okay, Sarah, I have an 11-month-old who goes to sleep on his own for a morning nap of 1 hour-ish, an afternoon nap of 1 to 2 hours, and then goes to sleep bed at 7 p.m. and falls asleep on own. He now keeps waking up every 30 minutes and won't let settle unless he's in my arms. So the point that you've now got him settling in your arms means that he's now waking up and expecting that. So if you can try and settle him from the side of the cot and not actually take him out of the cot, that's going to be better. I'd need to have a look at your exact schedule and wake times to know that, but try and look at you've got about 2.5 hours maximum sleep in the day. If you're finding that it might actually suit more 2 hours, so kind of play around with the total sleep in the day. And I would say give him a slightly earlier bedtime. If he's waking up every 30 minutes to an hour, it sounds like he's overtired when he goes to bed. So I don't know what the wake time is before bed, but bring that back a bit. Is it best to put your toddler to bed to nap? Yes, they get a better sleep there. It's a much better sleep. So if you can put them to bed, then definitely do that. Okay, how can I stop my 7-year-old, almost 5-year-old, and almost 3-year-old to go to sleep? They're getting worse at going to sleep at bedtime. It doesn't matter what time I put them to bed, they're still up after 9 p.m. So it must be a busy household in the evening, Nikki. So what you want to do is give them a warning before it's bedtime, and you need to be strict at that. So don't go, okay, it's time to go to bed and yank them up. Give them like 15-20 minutes. Right, in 15-20 minutes, because if they're playing, they're going to get very angry at you if you've just taken them upstairs. So give them a warning, 15-20 minutes, we're going upstairs for bedtime. Incentivize them as well. So if they stay in bed and have a good and they actually go to bed, they get a reward. And actually go through with it as well. And there can be some sort of like ticking off, they have to tick off the checklist of the stages of the sleep. So have something, you can either do it as a list where they tick it off, or make little cards, cue cards, where there's a bath and they have to put it in for each stage. All about incentivizing at that age and following through. Right, we've got 1-year-old who wakes 3 to 4 times a night, screaming, tried calming him, but always ends up in my bed by 5 a.m. as we're both wiped out. Also maybe half an hour sleep morning / noon at my wits end. Help, SOS. Okay, so when you say that she's having a nap, it's quite young to be just having one nap. Or are they having she's having a half an hour nap in the morning and the afternoon? At 1 year old, you're expecting 2 naps. It's very young to be having one nap. If you are saying that, I'm not very clear. Try and get 2 naps, roughly about 2 hours total, because if she's waking 3 to 4 times a night, probably overtired. So just try and get her having 2 good naps in the day. Also bed at 7:30, may sleep and then awake, settle, wake again several times. I tried sitting by bed and slowly creeping up as soon as I realise I've gone, he goes mad. So yeah, he's probably very overtired. So try to get him to have those 2 naps in the day, 2 hours, and use that gradual. Give him a bedtime earlier. 7:30 is too late if he is up at 5 and he's overtired because he's not having good naps. So then aim for 6:45-ish bedtime, even 6:30 if necessary. And stay for the first few nights. If you're sitting by bed, wait till he's gone to sleep and then go out, and then slowly and keep doing that, but just gradually move out the room. Just stay in the room. Don't creep out when he's awake. Right, I'm going to put in this in the comment box, guys. Why can't we? Yeah, it's doing it. I'm going to put the workshop links. Here we go. So this one is for the both newborn and 4 to 18 month. There's 2 there, so let's put that in there. And then also, if guys, anyone needs one-to-one support, does that help? Oh, sorry, Tracy, I don't know which bit you heard. I said, can you hear me? I was saying that give him an earlier bedtime, and then also don't wait till he's asleep before getting out the room, and then just gradually move out the room, slowly further towards the door. And then eventually just leave the room. Don't sit in the room at all, and then respond going back in and leaving. We've got one more chance. I'll do one more, Laura, and then I think we're up. So my 6-month-old is struggling to nap longer than 30 to 40 minutes in the day. We'll sometimes have 2 hours on an afternoon if we're lucky. Any tips on getting longer naps? He goes to sleep on his own at night, sleeps around 11 to 22 hours, but is waking several times a night, feeds at least once a night, sometimes twice. So are you getting his wake times right? So hold on, I can't see the question. So you need to make sure that he's not going down overtired. So aim for wake times of about 2 hours 15 to 2 hours 30, and look for those sleepy cues. Have a 10-minute wind down routine, and make sure that and you said he's going down. Does he go down for his naps on his own as well? Make sure he's going down by his naps on his own, and aim for an hour in the cot, to see if he'll go back to sleep again if he knows how to self-settle. And it's just practice. The workshop would be really good if you need any sort of settling strategies. It doesn't let me send the link, so if you go on Let's Talk Birth and Babies, and then go to the sleep classes, you'll find the workshops there. It's the 4-month-old and the newborn one. Laura, 4 months plus, this would be perfect for you, for if you're needing like sleep strategies when he's waking in the night, because it's all about connecting sleep cycles and making sure he's not going down overtired. And that's it for now. We have come to the end. I'm going to be doing the Instagram live next week, and then I'll be back on here the following week at 1 o'clock again. So lovely speaking to you all, and speak soon.